James Taylor is here. He is a man who needs very little introduction. He is a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Songwriters Hall of Fame. He's looking down as I say this. He's won 4 Grammys. President Clinton declared him an American treasure. He has influenced an entire generation of performers. Garth Brooks once said, "James Taylor and God are the reasons I play music." He is known for recording some of the biggest hits of the 20th century. Just listen to the names of these classics: Fire and Rain, Shower the People, How Sweet It Is, You've Got a Friend, and the song that landed him on the cover of Time magazine, Sweet Baby James. His latest album is entitled October Road, and it has already been certified gold. I am pleased to have James Taylor at this table. Welcome.
Thank you, Charlie. It's great to be here.
People are saying, and this is flattery, but it's true, I mean, I think that this is the best thing they think you've done in a long time. And I mentioned that Hourglass in 1997 won a Grammy. And they think this is the best thing perhaps you've ever done.
Well, that's very encouraging to hear. I don't know who's saying that, but I feel good about
Critics.
it. I feel that's great. I do. I feel good about this as a batch of songs and as a as a well sort of realized project. But it's exciting to have it finally finished.
Yeah, it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
Tell me the process for you. I mean, there's a collection of songs here which we'll talk about, and each one, there's no theme here. This is just a collection of songs.
That's right. They are just whatever has sort of come up and what I've managed to collect in the past 5 years. We've been working on it for about 2 years, and it's not really until you sort of put the whole thing together that you can see that there are some themes to it. They just happen to be, what the songs tend to be about. Themes of loss, or love songs, or themes about traveling, or sort of spiritual quest, or but it's only in hindsight that you can see what the themes are.
Do you tell me how you go? I've asked you this before, but I'm always interested. The process for you. I mean, do you first put it? How do you write?
Well, there are 2 phases to it, really. One is a sort of inspirational kind of lightning strike, where you hope to catch as much of the song as you can in that first sort of moment that it comes through. And then, having collected these bits, or these partially finished pieces, you need to clear out time, make big, empty, essentially boring periods of time, and go and just live with the stuff. Long walks can help, long drives in the car, but just playing the songs on the guitar and working on them. So there's a part of it's inspirational, part of it is sort of method. And
then once you get the lyrics together, do you bring the group together and sort of present it to them in what way?
Well, usually that's the process. You get 6 or 7 songs finished, teach them to some fellow musicians, and take it with a producer into the recording studio and start cutting basic tracks on the things, and then deciding what you want to do to elaborate on that, or to sort of sweeten it, or maybe take another try at it. This particular album was a very different kind of process because of a sort of mishap that happened towards the beginning of the project. I ended up with lots of tracks, lots of music, and no lyrics. So I cut tracks, very simple ones, to almost all of these songs without lyrics, and that gave me later the project, the very sort of meticulous kind of work of trying to fit fit a lyric into these already existing rhythmic and tonal kind of stuff.
When was it that you had the theft of the songbook?
The theft of the songbook was it must have been 2.5 years ago now, in the month of April, here in New York, at the Trump International Hotel. And it was just
funny, but
it was. It's happened before to me. I left a cassette player with all of my songs on it for about 1.5 years of work in a taxi cab in Paris. And that was an equally stupid thing to have.
Now, but you had to go back and remember the lyrics to all these songs.
Well,
that
you know,
have
you
been
don't,
keeping.
you can't remember what you've forgotten, so, you know, basically I just had to go back and
Start over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for example, these are the songs that were lost? Like October Road and September Grass and On the 4th of July?
You know, it wasn't as though they were complete lyrics that were written. I would have remembered those. No, they were basically sort of ideas, sketches, or just lyrical ideas that were I put down over a period of about 3 years in a small, you know, brown notebook that is probably in a landfill in Staten Island as we speak.
Some have said about this album that, beyond praising it up one side and down the other, they have said that while Hourglass had a kind of a narrative and a ballad quality to it, that this is different, and it has what? It has more guitar, they say.
Yeah, it is. We cut the tracks with guitar, bass, and drums, and that makes it a very. Usually, I'll teach a song to a piano player, and then that's the sort of bridge into the rest of the arrangement. But in this case, I just went straight with the guitar, and it really made me focus on making that the center of the arrangement. So,
but you normally would you teach it to a piano player?
Yeah.
You know, and the purpose of that is to do what?
Well, that's the sort of thing. It puts it in sort of a common language that the rest of the players can work with, and usually I like working with a keyboard player, so it's sort of it's the first step in expanding the arrangement out of the guitar and into to whatever it will become.
These are great titles. I'm going to talk about. We'll get to the big ones in a minute. But Mean Old Man, kind of a jazzy tune.
It is. It's sort of that's sort of like a Hoagie Carmichael 1930s inspired tune about. It's a simple idea, just somebody about being turned around by love. You know, being turned from a mean old man into a puppy dog.
September Grass.
September Grass.
September Grass. Who wrote that?
That's written by an old friend of mine, John Sheldon. He and I grew up together, basically, and sort of, you know, learned music, you know, from the same sources and stuff. We have a lot in common, and he's written a lot of nice songs, and is sort of a local phenomenon in Central Mass. Hasn't really broken out of that neighborhood, but I've always wanted to do a song of his, and this one really seemed particularly well suited. I've been living with it for a number of years and playing it, sort of working it up. So.
Yeah, all the others are written by you,
except for the last one, "Have Yourself a Merry Little
Christmas."
Christmas.
Of course. You didn't write that, did you?
Yeah, no.
That would have been a surprise to me.
One of the things they say in the music business is, I liked your song so much, I went home and wrote it.